Becky. Whew, it's been busy. I've had lots to do since I got back, and now we're down to work. So we're going to make your video today. I've been promising the jean skirt conversion, the one where you split the insides and do all that. Well, we're going to do that today. And I just wanted to show you, this is one, see, where it's got the insert here at the bottom, or here in the front. This is a big people size. What I did with this one, this was a brown pair of capri pants, and I just used some chiffon. See, it's kind of see-through, a little bit see-through. Yeah, you can see through it. What I did was I made sure that the split came together below the knee. So you could either do that or wear a little slip or something underneath of it. But anyway, I just used some blue chiffon in here because it tied in with the blue embroidery. See, isn't that pretty? But we'll learn how to do that today. Now, I had a lady ask me before, well, does it matter what kind of material you use? Well, no, it really doesn't. Sometimes, you know, to get the way that the skirt flows, if you use a lighter fabric, sometimes when you wash it, the denim it doesn't last as long because the denim is really heavy and, you know, that. But when I do specialty conversions like that, I really recommend you hand wash them or wash them in gentle on their own, so that you're not mixing the fabrics and causing any damage with zippers, etc. Okay? All right, so today, with just a few, we've got some scraps of thread. That's not thread. Fabric. We've got some scraps of fabric. I've got a bottom of a pant leg. And then I've got some scraps left over from a little dress that I made. Now everybody they call me a scrapaholic because I never like to throw away my scraps. Well, you'll find out why, because today I'm going to turn these scraps into inserts for these two little people. Here's a pair of little people jeans and another pair of little people jeans. And I'm doing little people jeans so that you guys can see it, and it makes it easier for me to show you in a video rather than having a large pair of jeans laid out all over the table. We could see it with the little bitty jeans, and plus they're so darling. Do that. This is not a beginner tutorial, but I really believe that if you follow along, you will be able to do this. Now, it might turn out a little wonky your first time or two until you get used to it, but it's totally doable, okay? Now also, if you notice on here, if you can see, the stitching is a dark pink, so the fabric coordinates with that. And then I also chose dark pink thread. That's really thread, not this, but that's really thread. Thread to match it when we go to sew it, especially when we do our top stitches and stuff. It helps it kind of match. Right. And even so, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to this inner crotch seam, okay, the one that's in the crotch, not the one that's on the side. I've had a couple of people go, oops, Amy, I did the one on the side. No, you don't want to do that one. You want to do the one that's in the middle, the crotch part of the pants. See, we hold them up. This is the pants, the one that's in the middle, right here in this triangle-y part, okay? That's the part you want to take apart. All right. So, now, you could use a seam ripper because that's the proper way to do it, but I'm just going to be a little bit of a bad habit rabbit because, for the sake of time, I guess, if time really matters. But, you know, no, not really. Alright, now, I'm just going to, you got to get through the hem. And once you get through that, now, if you're doing a conversion and you're going to turn it like into a pencil skirt or something, then you can just cut this hem out. You don't have to rip it out. And by rip, I don't mean really like tear. I mean like use a seam ripper and actually take the threads out of the seam. Okay? Now, because I'm being a bad habit rabbit, I'm just going to use the scissors to go down this seam and take it out. Now, if you use the seam ripper, you know, then you just pick out the seam. See how we're going here? We're just taking the seam out. Okay? All right. Let me get that done. And with this, it's called ripping because you use a seam ripper, not because you tear. No, it doesn't do that. And you don't really want to tear because sometimes, especially with used jeans, the denim can become quite soft, and then you actually tear into the leg, and then you can't use it. So I will finish ripping these. All right, and then I just cut through the hem part because I'm cheating, being a bad habit rabbit. When you're doing this, you take the time. You can do your seam ripper and pick out all those little bitty stitches, okay? But there we go. Now, we got this part, that inner crotch done. See, now they actually kind of hang almost like a skirt already. All right. Now, when you are going to insert fabric into both the front and back, actually, I think I'm going to do that on these. I'll do a flat insert in the front and then the ruffle insert in the back. Kind of give you the idea. All right, so with that, now you also see this little part here in the front where this little seam right here up to the zipper, that part. You want to undo that, and then you also want to undo it here in the back as well. See, here's the little curvy part that went under to make the crotch, but you want to undo this up to, well, on these, you right up to the waistband, okay, so that they're both open. And now I will use the scissors again, and I will do that. Now you'll also notice that when I do this, it's going to take out that pink top stitching on these, but since we have our pink thread, when we redo the top stitching, we can use pink. Now, if you like, say you were using pink that had, like, say, see my pink polka dots, this fabric has some green on it. If you wanted to, you could use green thread to restitch it and do the top, because you know green is God's favorite color. Just look around outdoors, you can tell. If you wanted to do green or white or any other color, okay, you can use that to top stitch, and just be creative. You could do whatever you want. So now I'm gonna get these seam ripped out up to the zipper, and then I'll go in the back and get the back done too. Okay, now they are all ripped out. See, now they open way up like this. You have the back open up to the waistband and the front open up to the zipper. Okay? All right, so now let me get my scraps and stuff out of the way. And then I just take them out and I lay them flat. Okay? Now, the part that had the top stitching, that's going to be the part you put on top. Okay? And let's see if I can't get you guys a close-up in here. All right, here we go. So this is the part you want to put on top. Okay? And you want that to just lay flat. And then see, you have this little piece here is where our fabric is going to go. Okay? And then you want to lay that flat, and then you're going to pin right along this area here so that you can top stitch that in. Now I always like to fold that over so it gives it a nice sharp appearance, so it doesn't unless you want to leave this seam open like that, and then this, as you wash it and wear it, this will start to fray. And then, you know, some of the jeans people like that where they have them where they're frayed. All right, well, let me get this pinned and then I'll show you what it looks like, okay? All right, now we have the top all pinned down. And now we're going to flip it over. And we're going to pin the back, okay? Now this, you want to go all the way up to the waistband, just like this. See here? Where the top stitching was, that's going to be your top layer. And then we're going to pin that down so that we have this little centerpiece too. All right, now let's get that pinned. All right, now I have this all pinned down, okay? And then I have the pins going away from the direction I'm going to sew. That way, as the sewing machine advances, I can just pull the pin out. Boom, pull the pin out, come down, and pull the pin out as I go. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2 top stitches, just like that was on here originally. Then we'll go from there. Let's see, can you see that nicely? Got, there's how it hangs, see, as you sit up, and then we've got there. Oops. Okay. All right, now we are ready to, now that we have them all pinned up, okay, now we are ready to go ahead and get them sewed flat. So let's pull the machine over here. And here we go. Now on this, I'm actually using my zipper foot. It's a little skinnier than the regular wide foot, and that just gives me more control as to where the seam, because I want that seam to be perfectly straight right on the edge. That way I can see it and visualize it a little bit better. Okay, but here we go, sewing this down. Now when you get to that point, just lift up the needle and rotate your jeans around so you can go the other direction after you get on that point. Okay? Remember pulling your pins out as you sew. I always sew the one that is closest to the edge of the seam first. I don't know, you don't always have to, but somehow just for me, that one, it always seems to turn out better when I do it that way. All right. And lift and turn at the point. right. Now, we've got the first of our top stitchings done. And let me just show you what that looks like. There we go. See, it's laid over, and the same thing in the back. It is laid over. Oops, hold on. There we go. See? All right. Now, just for sake of time, I'm not going to do the second stitch on camera. I'll do that when we're all done, and then, of course, through the magic of videography, I'll show you them all finished. All right. So I just am going to trim my extra threads off. All right. Here's the thread from when I ripped the seams open. Okay, all done. Now, again, you are going to pin. In my videos, I'm always saying, well, you know, I either don't pin or I don't pin a whole lot or whatever. Anyway, these little puppies, you are going to pin, and pin some more. Because you want them to lay flat. Now, on the inside of these, once I have those done, well, let me get all this thread. Ooh. And on the inside of these, where, you know, people are like, well, what happened to that pointy other part? Well, see here on the inside, you can see it's still here. Whoop. But what I do with that, just while I'm sewing, I'll turn it inside out, and just where this other little corner is on the inside, I just pop a pin in it while I'm putting my inserts in, because otherwise, if you don't, sometimes that can fold back over and get in your way. I will just come over here so you can see that the little part, this other pointy edge. I'm just going to pin that down, and then once you're all done top stitching, you're going to want to press that down too. So whether you use your flat iron press or if you got a big press or whatever, but you want to press that down. So see, now those are pinned out of my way, so they're not flapping around, and I'll just turn those back right side out. Okay, now for the insert. All right, so I get them all laid down flat, okay, where I want my seams, where I want them to be. This is a good time also to press your now forming skirt, okay? Get those edges pressed, get everything nice and flat and crispy, okay? All right, now for my flat insert, I'm going to find a piece. Here's my scraps. I'm going to find a little piece. Oh, here's a little piece right here. See, this is a nice size little scrap. Get that off and make it square. Woo. Okay. Put these scraps to the side. And then, let me just show you. Here's that front insert. See? Ooh, that fits right in there. So, get them all flat back out. And now I'm going to show you how I pin that in. Okay, so here's our square piece of fabric. Here's our jeans laying nice and flat. Okay, now I haven't pressed mine obviously because they're still a little bubbly, but you can press them and they will still turn out nicely. All right, so I'm just going to lift up the edges of these. Okay, and then lay this under here. Now for the bottom edge, okay, see how that lays in there just nicely? All right, but for this bottom edge, what you're going to want to do is fold that under, press it, and put a straight stitch right across the bottom and hem it. Okay, I'm going to do that and be right back. Alright, and here we go. Now see, I have a little hem right here. Now I didn't press it, but you can see the hem. And so now to pin it, I'm going to start, well, if I can get my camera straight, I am going to start right here at the top. And I usually will just reach under and make sure I have the top of the fabric with the jean, and then I'm just going to reach right through and I'm going to pin that at the top to kind of hold it there in place. And then I'm going to come down and pin the ends here, the hem. Okay, so I'm just going to line those up nice and even. Pin there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, now remember, I cut through my hem lines, so mine are going to be a little bit thicker than yours are, and oops, that needle is not straight. So mine are going to be a little thicker than yours, but yeah, don't pay that any attention. All right, so now I've got the bottom hem done, and now I'm just going to pin right here. Okay, so now I can take that out, and I like to just make sure that that is nice and flat under there where I want it. And then I'm going to pin. And the same thing on the other side. Okay? Now, you want to remember to pin so that when the sewing machine comes down, you can just pull these pins right out. Okay. All right. Voila, we have our front piece inserted. Ta-da! See how that is? All right, now when you, right here where they join, see how this has got this little bubbly lip right there? All you have to do before you do that, see, when we just pull on it, that just will come straight down. So if you just press that, that will go down. Okay, and now we're gonna sew. All right, so now we just have to sew that insert in. And what I do now is I go ahead and, remember that second top stitch that we didn't do already? I just incorporate that in when I sew the top stitch on the bottom. So I just keep going all the way up and finish that second top stitch. Makes it pretty simple. All right. I probably should turn my press on so that I can show you what it looks like when it's pressed and looks good. Just do a little back stitch down there so that it doesn't come out of your hem, okay? All right, and then just back down the other side. and go back up the other direction, and we'll be all done with this front panel. Alrighty, now we're done sewing in that front panel. Voila! There it is. And again, now we'll just need to get on the iron and press that flat, and it will be beautiful. See, there's our little insert. Let me show you up close. And there we go. Look, see? No pointies or anything. It's all laying nice and flat. Well, with the iron, once we get it all ironed, it'll be done flat. Okay, now on the back, here's the material. See? All the raw edges. Now, what I'm going to do, and maybe you've made your investment already, I'm going to take my serger and I'm going to go whoop, and I'm going to serge these edges whoop right off. If you don't have a serger, use your number 4 on my machine, but use your zigzag stitch. Cut it, take your zigzag stitch, sew as close as you can to this without getting on the jean or the denim, and then sew your zigzag stitch, and then trim it right above your zigzag stitch. That'll help keep the edges together so they don't fray, okay? But anyway, that's our jean insert video for today. Solo Deo Gloria. See you guys next time.